Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey folks, welcome to episode 211 of the Ages of Rock podcast. We're all giggling because this is take number 3. But anyway, I'm here again this week with Bill Algie, and I've got the bearded man up here, Mr. Alan Tate, and we have a guest with us tonight, Moriah Formica, and we're glad to have her on. Stumbled.
And that's the only time he will get that pronunciation right tonight.
Oh, it's going to be
absolutely.
It will be Moriah the rest of the night, so we're just going to do that.
It's all right. I've heard all sorts of things.
Oh, I'm sure, because I was all day going, is it Formica? I don't know. I'm going to say
the most probably out of anything.
Okay. So anyway, what got me to want to have you on the show was this week I was, of course, you go down the rabbit hole and we're all, off work, doing nothing, and, you get on YouTube and you keep falling down and all of a sudden I came across a video of you. It was you and another gal. She was playing drums, you were playing guitar, and you were doing Barracuda. And I was like, holy smokes. This girl, not only can she play guitar very well, she's got pipes, and can sing like crazy. So then, from there, I started delving into more. I looked you up and started looking at your other videos and everything. And I'm like, holy moly. And then I find out, you've been on The Voice and you've been doing this. And I'm like, I've got to get this girl on. So, because
thank you.
Your voice and the music, you're a young girl with an old soul. You know what I'm saying? And totally. And you're singing the songs that we love. So anyway, that's why I wanted to get you on. So we'll start from there.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Oh, no, not a problem. So were you a singer first and then a guitar player, or did you learn guitar and then you found out you could sing? How did that work?
Yeah, I picked up guitar when I was about 5 or 6, and so guitar was definitely my first instrument. My dad raised me around a lot of 80s hair metal and just classic rock in general, and he would always have, that metal show and 80s pop-up videos going on in the morning. And I just saw these guys with the guitars and I was like, I want to be them. I want to be like that. So I got my first guitar around 5 or 6 and I just locked myself in my room until I learned one new Aerosmith song a day.
Wow.
And then I started singing around I started singing around 9 or 10, actually. That wasn't until much later.
Very interesting, because I knew there had to be something. There was either one or the other, but a lot of people, the voice comes in first, and then they do the instrument. But I know your guitar playing is really, really good. So I was like, she's been playing guitar a long time. So
Thank you.
It's great. So but anyway, with that, so which one did you said you were in 2017? You were with The Voice. But we were talking previously to you. You went through American Idol. Which one was first? Did you go?
The Voice was first.
Voice was first. Okay.
Yeah. The Voice was first.
So we actually had. Damn it. Help me out, Bill. From American Idol, we had
James Durbin.
Yeah, James Durbin. I'm sorry. We had James Durbin on.
And I know him.
And he's been on here, and like I said, he talked about the whole process. I mean, just how it is a process. Was The Voice, being that you were on The Voice too, was The Voice the same situation? I mean, was it as far as getting on and going through all the stages and all that stuff?
As far as like the beginning stages, kind of, yes, but not really. Actually, it's kind of the same, like as far as like how many rounds you might have to go through before you get on the show and whatever, and depending on if you went to open calls or if you got a private audition or whatever, like that's all kind of the same. But it's different. It's very, very different in how you're treated, and it's very, very different. It's just different in how you're treated, really.
Right.
To be honest. The Voice, very, very warm, very welcoming. You know, they want you to have your rest. They really just want you to be the best you. American Idol, it's you know, it's not for the weak at all. It's just not. It's, you know, for the group rounds, first of all, you're already in there. You have long work days there, like long work days. And, you know, we didn't get back until about 10:30 to the hotel, 10:30 at night. Then they were like, all right, you guys have to find a group and then pick a song. And then it's like this mad dash to pick a song. And then you have to rehearse it all night with vocal coaches. And so we ended up being done at around, you know, 4:30 in the morning. And our call time for the next morning was 6 a.m. So I got no sleep. It was the worst nausea I've ever felt in my life. And, you know, when you're that sleep deprived, you don't remember anything. So it's like you forget the lyrics, you forget everything. And meanwhile, my group is fighting because, you know, they're like, oh, you know, I don't want to, you know, you don't want to go in front of the judges and mess up your stuff. You just don't. And my group started fighting, and this one girl was crying, and this one dude was being an ass, and I was just sitting there like, I'm like, this is just so freaking stupid. Like, and I said that. I looked at them. I was like, this is just dumb. Like, this is stupid. And the reason that I had that attitude was because while this girl was crying and this guy was being a jerk, and I was just sitting there like, whatever. And this other girl didn't even really speak English, so she was just singing over everybody. I was like, this is a mess. And the camera people were just laughing in our faces and shoving cameras in our faces and like laughing to each other about it. And I'm like, you know, it's just disgusting. I'm like, that just to some of these people, like, this is their lives that they're competing for. You know, right. I had already been on The Voice. I had already known that, hey, this is not going to make or break your life. Yes, it's a big milestone. It's a big step, but it's not going to make or break your career or your life. Some of these people didn't understand that. And so when you have these camera people filming, you know, what you think is a huge deal, and they're laughing in your face because you're nervous and you're crying, that's awful.
Well, they're producing a television show, so they want to see all that aspects. They want to see that's what they're doing. I mean, that's how they get viewers. And you're right. I watched American Idol for a few years, and to the point where I was like, I'm just done with it.
Yeah, they really don't care. And you're right. You're exactly right. It's just a television show. It's just a TV show. As a matter of fact, half the things that you see on there are not even real.
No. You know? Well, not only that, I mean, if you look at it in the big picture, if you look at how many contestants they've had over the years, you know, you could name 3 people, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even the people that won it, you can name 3 people, 4. I mean, right. That's about it. I mean, you really can't name a whole lot others. So
there's not, yeah, and it doesn't work that way anymore. There are no, you know. There's no more Chris Daughtry's that come out of that show. There's no more Carrie Underwoods that come out of that show. There's no more Kelly Clarksons. There's none of that anymore. And those are kind of the biggest names, like you said, that you can remember. And then the rest, it's kind of just like, you know. My friend was on the same season, placed 3rd, you know, and it's like, I think that people just expect that there's going to be this big, like you're going to be a star, and it's not, you know, if anything, you just have to work harder to use your exposure that you got to your advantage so you can grow from there.
Right. You know, I always, and it's got to the point anymore. That's why I watch it. I get sucked into it every, you know, season, but it's the point where it's not even a fact of, they don't even care about how good of a singer is. You know, right. What's your backstory? You know, everybody's got to have a backstory. You know, this happened in my life. It's like, oh my gosh, we got him, and he had something happen to him when he was 2. Right. You know, so and it's like, that doesn't matter. We wanted to hear you sing. We want to hear how good you know, and like I said, they are making a reality show. It's not a singing competition. It's a reality show, you know.
Yeah,
period.
Definitely. I mean, even The Voice, look, like, they, even though they treat you better than American Idol, it's the same thing. Like, that show is basically just about the coaches. It's about that. It's about the, that's all it really is. It's not really, I always say, like, the biggest thing that you get out of those shows is just exposure. You don't get stardom. You don't get those things. You just get exposure, and it's up to you how you want to use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can tell that. You can tell that on the show. You can tell that how people are definitely using that to their advantage by song selections and things like that.
Right.
I mean, they are, because there is some of that plays into it for sure. Yeah. But it looks like you've had some pretty good success. I mean, I'm telling you, since Dennis said, "Hey, let's get Moriah on the show, and here's what we're going to do," and so I spent yesterday a little bit, and today there's some great material out there.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, you have people on the show, and yeah, you say that kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, I've just been kind of really pretty wowed.
Thank you so much.
It's been pretty cool. So I've added some stuff to my playlist, but
Thank you.
And here, you do covers too, which I think is really cool. Yeah. Bring Me to Life, that cover, I saw a video on YouTube, like from I think you were opening, it looked like you were opening for somebody. It was a pretty big stage that I couldn't tell who, you didn't know who it was. Right. But I was like, wow, you definitely were bringing it. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Is there some of that stuff? And obviously you're a victim of good parenting. And we've established that by your musical taste, so that's a good thing. We talk about that on a show sometimes too. So, but has that genre that your dad, had you listen to, has that really driven you to certain things, or is that just stuff that, like, that's what you carry around in your back pocket? So when somebody says, "Can you do that's kind of different?" and you whip out, one of those kind of tunes, one of those more rocky tunes, but most of your stuff is in that genre, so it's pretty good stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, I for a long time, really up until the last, like, maybe 3 years, classic rock was my go-to thing, just because I loved it, and that's what I was raised on. And so it was never really like, oh, this is what I have in my back pocket if you want to hear something different. It was just, that's what I started off playing, and that's what I became comfortable with. And it wasn't until, I was about maybe 14 or 15 that I started playing the more modern things, and even some pop songs.
Exactly. I noticed one thing, looking through your not repertoire, but what you've done, and a guy that we really like, and we actually interviewed him down at the last Rockin' Pod, Michael Sweet. I seen where you actually went on tour with him. He took note of your vocal ability, and then took you out on some select tour of his. Was that during his, some of his solo stuff?
Yeah, it was during one of his solo shows. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. He's super.
He really
nice.
is. He is. I love Michael, and he's done so much to help me. Him and his wife Lisa, and it's crazy. And he invites me he throws this Christmas show every year in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and it's just so much fun. And he has me up there every year, and we just sing. It's like there's a few acts, and then at the end, all of us come up on stage and sing Silent Night, and it's just so much fun. And he's just a great guy, and he always is there to support me.
So when did you get your first real break?
Probably when I started playing shows with Michael Sweet, I think.
That's cool.
That was when word kind of got around about who I was and stuff in the rock scene.
So how did you get or meet Michael Sweet? I mean, I guess you're living in the same area. I know he's from up that way.
So he was on his tour, on his solo tour, and he was doing a show at one of the local venues around here where I live in upstate New York. And the place, it just so happened that my producer at the time knew the owner of that place, and he was like, yeah, I have a friend that heard you doing some things on YouTube, and she would like to have you play a song for her to see if she wants you as an opener for the Michael Sweet show. And I was like, yeah. So I went. I was 14 at the time.
Wow.
And so I was like, yeah. So I went and I played, and she was like, yeah, we want you to open the show. So, and I opened the show, and like Michael said, I guess he just kind of took notice, and he took me on and started helping me ever since. And, you know, he's been present. He's been helpful. He's just a great guy. So that's how we met. That's how everything started with Michael Sweet and I.
Well, that's really cool. So we asked this to a lot of people because of the record industry itself is not like it was in the 70s and the 80s, you know, where the record companies were out there and they just write you a blank check and then you did all this.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's a do-it-yourself type situation. So, I mean.
Oh, for sure.
So is that, I mean, I know that you talk about you have, you know, promoters and all that stuff like that, but I mean, as far as record and doing all this stuff, you're doing most of the footwork yourself, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that we have a lot of cool people and good people on our side, and, you know, out in LA and behind the scenes. But I mean, you know, like you said, it's always, oh, you know, we love what you do. We don't know what to do with you or whatever. or it's, hey, you know, we love you. We think you're amazing. We're going to keep an eye on you, but your social media says this. Or, you know what I mean? And so,
right.
Like you said, it is kind of, you have to, nowadays, it's like you have to build yourself and then go to the record labels and be like, hey, I got 100,000 followers on Instagram. Now am I worth your time and money?
Right.
Which is awful, but that's just how it works. And so it is frustrating, but yeah, I kind of just been, I am an independent artist. I've just kind of been doing everything, my family and I, and, you know, people that we've met along the way and contacts that we've made.
That's cool. And like I said, now with you're needing to get out, and 2020 was going to be the year of, you know, of all of these concerts where you could have maybe got a warm up gig or something like that for somebody. And now you're sitting at home not being able to get out there. I mean, that's really, I'm sure that's really frustrating for you guys. I mean, just wanting to get stuff out and wanting to be out there performing, and you can't. I mean, that's a problem.
It's, yeah.
Brian, did you have some shows planned for the summer? Were you doing a summer tour thing or some gigs or just local stuff or anything going on in particular?
Well, I was supposed to be on tour actually with Michael Sweet and Tony Harnell in May actually, and it was the 1987 tour, and that got postponed until September. So I was supposed to be doing that, and then we just had some shows all over. We had some shows planned in Virginia, Georgia, California, and it just, you know, everything got canceled. So it sucks.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's been frustrating for everybody. I mean, we were all, like I said, everybody was all excited this year about this was going to be the year of everybody, and it's like it's nobody.
Right.
It's just been.
You know, I would be lying if I said that I'm not enjoying the time to myself and with my family that I get to spend every day. I do enjoy that part.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome.
Who do you think is your biggest influence? I mean, when you listen to your music, because it's kind of, you know, there's Heart in there and there's, you know, Evanescence in there, and then you've done the Skid Row thing, and so I know you talked about, you know, 80s rock and stuff like that, but what's the band that you go back to? You seem to go back to. Is there somebody that's that person or group?
When it comes to music as a whole, like, when I first started playing guitar, definitely Aerosmith. I fell in love with Aerosmith. Joe Perry was my favorite guitar player, still is one of my favorite guitar players, and they kind of were one of the whole entire reasons that I learned how to play guitar, because I just wanted to play their music all the time. But singing and how I got to where I am now and the songs that I write, definitely Evanescence. Evanescence and Amy Lee in particular, she's my biggest vocal influence. And my older stuff that I wrote when I was like 12, like it's very, very Evanescence. And yeah. And then after that, I guess would come Hailstorm and Lizzie Hale. You know, because I never saw a woman that played guitar and was just a badass and just commanded the stage and played guitar and sang like that at the same time. You know, it's always either somebody's really amazing at guitar and has a mediocre voice, or, you know, they have an amazing voice, but they're, you know, they can play a couple chords on guitar, but she just had all of it. And I was like, holy freaking crap. You know, when I saw them in concert, I was 11.
Wow.
So my head was just exploding with all these new experiences. And then Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is a huge vocal influence for me as well. So those are my 3 biggest vocal influences.
That's not bad choices. I've been amazed. You know, it's kind of funny you say Lady Gaga, which is, you know, this is not something we normally talk about on the on the podcast, but she is an amazing vocalist. She truly is. I mean, she's got such a range, and
oh yeah,
she can sing anything, and it just sounds really, really. It sounds great.
Anything and everything. She's so amazing.
Yeah, when they did that special. I don't know if you watched that special that was on a couple weeks, like last week or whatever, where it had all the artists in different places. Yeah.
Yeah.
By far, you know, she started the show, and by far she was the best person on the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Hands down. I was like
just her artistry and like how she's just so her, you know. Right. It's just so, she's just unmistakable, and she's unapologetically her, and she's just so genuine.
When she first came out, I really didn't get it. You know, it was one of those things like this. You know, she had the balloons on her, and she's doing that. You know, and she had that one. What's the big Poker Face song? And I really didn't. I didn't really understand her, and I don't know if it was. It could have been on the Oscars or something. She came out in this big flowing dress singing Julie Andrews, and I was just blown away. I was telling my wife, I was like, my God, she can actually sing. You know, it's not just this nut joke thing. I mean, she's got, like I said, she's got pipes, you know. Yeah. And ever since that I seen that, I was, because, you know, Julie Andrews had a, you know, has got a great voice too. And it's like when she could do that and do the stuff that she does, I was very, very impressed. So that's one of those, you know, kind of like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, it definitely took me a little bit too. Like, you know, when I was younger, when she, you know, when Lady Gaga first came out, and Love Game and Paparazzi and Bad Romance and those songs came out, I loved Bad Romance. I loved those songs. I loved all the songs. But I was, you know, when it came to me, who loved classic rock at 8 years old, I was like, you know, I like these songs, but she sucks. Like, she's not a good singer, blah, blah, blah. You know, because you're 8 years old. You think you freaking know everything.
Right.
And yeah, it took me a little bit. And then I was like, holy crap. Like, I love this woman. She's amazing.
That is crazy.
Really, when I heard the album that she did with Tony Bennett, I was like, I was just like, oh my freaking gosh. Like, I fell in love.
That's cool. I just seen Tony Bennett here a couple months ago, and he was fantastic. I mean, the dude's 90-something years old, and I mean, like, just still.
Oh my gosh, it's insane.
Tearing it up.
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's so crazy.
That is cool. So, if you're, I know have you been able to meet Lizzie at all? Have you ever met her?
Yeah. I'm actually, I know Lizzie. I've met her several times, and I actually played a show with her. Played a couple shows with Hailstorm. One particular one, the one that stands out, is one that we did together in Minnesota, and the lineup was so cool. It was me, and then Hailstorm, and then Joan Jett.
Wow.
And we were like. And then the night before that was me, then Dorothy, then Joan Jett. And it was just it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. But the Hailstorm one was particularly amazing for me, you know, because Lizzie Hale was one of my heroes for the longest time, and is a huge part of why I am where I am today. And they could not be kinder people. I mean, they're just so kind and sweet, and they invited us for a fire afterwards, and we just talked for a long time, and they're just so welcoming and sweet.
We've ran into her a couple times, and she lives in Nashville, and we've ran into her a couple times down there, and she's just been, she's just down to earth, just nice person. She's really sweet. Yeah,
she's just so genuine, and it's like, if I watch interviews and I'm just like, that's insane. Like, that's just really how she actually talks to people. Like, it's not, there's no gimmick, there's no front, there's nothing. Like, she is just Lizzie, and she's Lizzie all the time to everyone, And that's something that I really, really love about her.
That's cool.
So who is someone that you would like to do a song or a show with?
Lady Gaga. Definitely Lady Gaga. I mean, I want to do a song and a show with tons of people. I mean, Amy Lee, Evanescence, Hailstorm. Again, I would love to actually do a song with her. Maybe play on the stage with her. It'd be cool to do a song with In This Moment. I love them.
Yeah.
Who else?
That would be another.
Yeah, I saw In This Moment and Lizzie Hale together here in Evansville.
Yeah.
Here in Evansville a few years ago.
They came right up to where I was, but I had shows that weekend in Atlantic City, and I was like, damn. It was two of my favorite bands in a tour together. I was like, holy crap. But yeah, I would love to do a song at this moment. I'd love to do a song with Tony Harnell from TNT. He has one of my favorite voices in the whole entire world. He's incredible. Of course, I'd love to keep working with Michael Sweet. I'd love to do another song with Michael Sweet. So many people. The list goes on. But those are the main ones.
So, being a guitar player, what's your axe of choice? What's your go-to instrument?
My go-to instrument is my LTD EC series. I just love those. I see
you play that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen on videos.
Yeah, it's just those are my guitars. That's just what and I am endorsed by ESP, so I feel, I can't be a traitor,
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I really, really do love them. And as a lead singer, when I'm on stage, I want to have a guitar that's, not too light, but it also is not so heavy that it crushes my diaphragm. And I find that with, the Gibsons, they're amazing, but their Les Pauls are heavy. They're just really heavy. I got to hold Lizzie's guitar, and I was like, how the heck does this woman go on stage and play with this freaking? It was so heavy, or at least it was for me. And because I'm not tall at all. I'm only 5 foot. So, I was like, oh. But this, what it is about the ESPs is they're just so light,
Right.
So, I really, really loved. I just fell in love with them the first time that I played them.
And as far as amplification, what do you use? I mean, are you Marshall?
Right now I use a Marshall. I have a little JVM combo, and it's pretty awesome. It works for every single type of scenario. Cool. So that's what and it's easy. It's heavy, but it's small and compact. It's better than carrying around a giant half stack.
Yeah, those get to be. I've got a couple of 5150s, and they're
carrying around a half stack, and I'm just like, dude, just get a freaking combo. It's the same volume.
Oh, I know. That or get a Kemper. I mean, Kemper, you have everything. I want one so bad, but they're so expensive.
I'm gonna get one day.
Oh yeah.
But they are so expensive.
Yeah, but they're decent. I just can't justify it because I don't play it. I don't play out anymore hardly, and so it's like I can't justify that much.
Right.
But they are the way to go. So what have you got coming up as far as new recordings, new records coming out, new material? What do you got coming out?
Yeah, I'm trying. I just had a new single that came out April 20th. It's called "Better Off Alone."
Right, good song.
Which is pretty cool because I wrote that song with a really talented group of people. Some of them are Grammy nominated writers, and they've written with people. They've written with Hailstorm, and they wrote "I Get Off" with Hailstorm, and they've written with Chris Daughtry and Shinedown and Skillet, and just a really, really cool group of people, and they're amazing. And so I was really, really excited to put that song out. What else? I'm trying to. My goal is to put out a song every 4 months, maybe. Just to keep people entertained and just to keep putting out new material. But I really, really just have been doing a lot of writing and a lot of artist development, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And, in the meantime, I am playing shows, but just, it's just hard to gauge because I have no idea how long this is going to go on for.
Right.
And, so now I've just been trying to, do what I can to stay afloat and to keep people engaged. And I also really enjoy keeping people engaged because, if they don't have anything else to do, I would love if my favorite performer or if anybody would just put on a concert on live stream or whatever. So I try to do that, so that's pretty much.
The good thing that you've got though going for you, and unlike your 70s and your 80s, stars that you liked and grew up with, their lifespan or their actual being able to play out is very limited. You're just there. I mean, you're just getting ready. You're just getting this thing cranked up. So you've got plenty of time to get out there and take over things,
Yeah, definitely.
The time is on your side, actually.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Hey, Moriah, I have a question for you. So when I was listening to some of your stuff earlier, I ran across this single called Exposure. Oh, that's bad. I should have brought that up.
Yes.
Okay, so the reaction is not much different than mine. But I was just curious, where did that? So that's just so different than everything else you've done. That's why I was going to ask the question. Was that just somebody came up and said, "Hey, will you play on this?" Or was it just, "I want to try this"? Or was it, where did it come from? It's very different.
It basically was just that King's X, I think they were called. I forgot. It basically was just them reaching out. They were like, "Hey, we found you. We really, really wanted a voice that was similar to Kelly Clarkson's, but that's unrealistic to get her. So, we would love to have you on the track and just, and we'll pay you X amount." And so I hate saying this, but I kind of just did it for money.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know, but these two goons go to work for money too, just like I do.
Yeah, we all do that. I mean, you got to pay bills.
Yeah, I did it for money, and also it was like at the time I also I didn't know what type of following they had, and possibly could I get some new fans from that. So that was kind of that whole thing, but I didn't have any part in writing that or it was just basically, here's the track, here's a demo singer, can you sing this? And I was like, yeah. Because I'm not going to bash them.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's not a bad thing. And you should branch out, and it gives you some range and different things. But
the thing is I love hip hop. I really do. I love hip hop. But that song, it just wasn't the right song, in my opinion.
It is when I ran across, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And I looked at the cover and I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. I put it on. I was like, oh, this is not like anything I've been listening to all day. And I didn't expect it to be, but I wasn't sure. The other thing too is I think the ballads that you're doing too are really good. I mean, they really,
thank you.
It makes your voice stand out really well. And I'm glad we figured out. I'm glad we found you. I mean, there's really good stuff there.
I mean, it gives me, like I said, I get the little goosebumps every once in a while, because like I was listening to my favorite one on the ones that I've seen on YouTube has been the Promises in the Dark. That Pat Benatar cover. Yeah. Your voice, and it's like you get to that one point, I was like, is she gonna do it? It's like, yes. I mean, I do. I was playing it for my wife yesterday or last night. I go, wait, listen, boom, you hit that part, right before the lead. I'm like, this is so great. But no, I've really enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm hoping to hear some good stuff coming out of you.
So what's the single you have out now? You have a single out now, right? What's it called?
It's called Better Off Alone.
Yeah. That's really good too. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I don't know, a lot of stars have been doing that instead of trying to release, LPs and EPs. They just kind of, here's a song, and a little bit longer, here's another song, just kind of keeping people interested. But it's good. There's, like I said, there's no set way of doing things anymore. I mean, everybody's got to come up with their own business plan. There's no no original plan left anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's right. Because the music industry is broke.
It is broke.
It is true.
They don't spend money on everyone. They don't have money to spend on everyone.
But music is not dead, though. Rock is not dead.
No,
it's the business is dead.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
No,
you want to talk a little about your band? Do you use the same guys all the time, or do you use different guys depending on what you're doing?
No, I have the same guys for. Actually, I just went through we're putting together a new project, but for about 5 years I played with the same band. It was a solo thing. It was presented as Moriah Formica, but we really became a family like a band would. But when you're young and you start things and it goes on for a little bit, but sometimes it's like, hey, I gotta move on, or you run into problems, especially in a band. And if one or more other people get success and one other gets jealous and it starts problems, and it, you just decide eventually you're like, okay, we gotta go our separate ways. But I still have my current lead guitar player with me. Me and him have a really, really strong bond, and we've been putting together a new band with this awesome, with the drummer, the awesome girl drummer in the Barracuda video.
Cool.
So yeah, we're trying to. I mean, I still have the Moriah Formica thing going, but we're trying to do something a little bit different. Because with rock, it's like nowadays with rock, it's like people look for bands, and it's like I figure there aren't many, female metal bands right now that are huge anyways, that are big anyways. Like, there's female fronted, but maybe not all female players. So I just thought that would be interesting to try.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's been some. I mean, like take Nina Strauss. She's been out there just absolutely Strauss. Sorry,
Nina
with Alice.
Phil will be very happy to hear you say that.
Phil's pretty too. But anyway, but I mean, I seen her with Alice here just recently. She's a monster. She's just.
Nina Strauss is amazing.
And
I look at her play, and I'm just like, you bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Dennis says the same thing.
Well, we met that.
Amazing. She's amazing.
Well, we met that new girl that's playing with Vixen now too. The younger girl. God, I cannot think of her name. We met her up in Indy. Remember at the KISS convention?
Yeah, you don't even go there.
I don't know her name, but she's a hell of a player too, and she's got her shit together.
Yeah.
But
no, there's a lot of great female players out there today.
Awesome. So you want to give everybody where they can find you, all your, just lay it all out there. Just let us know what you got.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I guess all my social media platforms are just the same name. It's just Moriah Formica, spelled MoriahFormica. I'm available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatchamacallit? What the hell is that thing? TikTok.
Hey, I got a TikTok too.
There you go.
Alan's into this TikTok things all the time. I'm like, what the hell is TikTok? It's a clock.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I thought it was the stupidest thing when I first saw it. My younger brother was using it. I was like, you're so dumb. Like, you're just sitting there dancing and you're freaking getting famous off of it. And then I started doing like guitar videos, and I was like, hey, this isn't so bad. And it's actually a great way to get some new followers and some new fans. But But yes, I'm available on all those platforms.
You only have 31,000 followers on TikTok. That's not too shabby.
Yeah, no, and it happened.
That's pretty good.
Well, yeah, it happened in a very fast period of time because I posted a couple videos that went viral, and then that's what happened is I ended up getting those followers, and I just wasn't expecting it. It's like you never know which videos are gonna go viral on TikTok and which ones aren't.
Yeah,
that is the truth. The very first video I did got like 300 views, and I was like, "Hey, this is great." And then I did one about Family Feud that got 3,600 views. I'm like, "What?"
Right? Yeah, it's like you never
because your video either gets noticed or it doesn't.
Exactly.
Because the second video I did, has like 29 views. Yeah, got 29 views the first day and nothing since. So
I'm gonna stick with watching them.
TikTok is it's kind of funny
idea.
How that works out.
It is funny.
Yeah,
it is
so funny.
A lot of creative people on TikTok.
Yeah.
There's some people ain't right on there.
Well, there's too many people right now with too much time on their hands. That's the problem.
There are so many weird people on there. I can't. So many weird people.
I resemble that.
I'm gonna say Alan's on there. So that's a true statement.
That is a true statement.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, like I said, we're really looking forward to hearing new stuff out of you. I hope you keep on plugging and keep making great music. And we'll keep watching you, and hopefully one of these days get to see you live in concert if we ever get concerts back at some point.
Hopefully.
No, that's awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah, I know. That's what I saw. This thing the other day said I would love to pay for an overpriced beer at a concert.
Yeah, I think my response to that was I think I would even pay for an overpriced beer.
You don't even drink it.
I don't drink beer.
Yeah, we're everybody's itching to get out right now and see some music. So, well, thank you very much, Moriah. We sure appreciate it. And
thank you for having me.
Like I said, hopefully we'll see you again here soon. Hang around for a minute while Alan takes us out.
All right, people. Go to 80srock.com. Check us out on our social media. Till next week. Peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.